Yo, people, back again. Another Red Talk. What you telling me, fam?
I'm all good, fam. I'm all good. What you saying?
I'm alright, bruv. I'm alright, but it's been a few days, like that. Been a few days, bruv. Man's gotten over another terrible performance, blood. But we got the points, though. We got the points.
Bro, three points is 3 points. 3 points is 3 points. Capitano with the performance. Listen, we take those. We take those.
Hey, we're not doing the shamelessness today, bro.
We take those, fam.
We're
It's
not
all
doing
right.
the
It's all right.
shamelessness today, bro. Do you know what I mean? So, I don't know. We're just gonna see in it what goes on, bro. It's a big week. It's a big week. We got Arsenal. Another performance, another far from convincing performance by Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? And a from convincing performance from us. And both of us haven't started the season well. Like, it's weird, isn't it? Like, it's proper weird because obviously they've strengthened, which was supposed to be quite significantly, but it hasn't proven to be so far. And even with us, do you know what I mean? We expected to see better than last season, and we haven't seen it. Do you know what I mean? And I thought Arsenal fans would be a lot more confident going into a game against us than they actually are, bro. So it's a weird situation. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, do you know what it is? Especially, actually, tell a lie. I'm not really surprised by their drop off in form. I expected them to beat Fulham. I'll be honest. Like I was expecting a 3-4 nil. When I saw 2-2, I was like, yo. But you know what it is with Arsenal, bro? I feel like it's just last year, Arsenal had the starting 11 that had them sitting top of the league 93%. The back four was intact, but the back four was functioning. The back four was contributing offensively, like especially with Ben White, like as in the chemistry he had with Saka down the right, like it was smooth. Like Saka was benefiting, Ben White was benefiting. Bro, when you look at it this year, like you've got Gabriel riding bench all 3 games. Fair enough. First game, they tried to do the whole injury thing. It's not an injury, it's clearly tactical. Then you've got Tomiyasu playing 1 game, then you've got Kiwo playing 1 game. And I always said this persistence with Kai Havertz might cost them the season because that brother is shit. And like wherever you put him, and that's what it is at the moment. I think they should just go back to what they know best. And if it means a £65 million signing rides bench, then so be it.
Yeah, but this is what it is. It's a weird situation because it's like there wasn't much that needed to be fixed from last season, and it's almost like their manager's doing way too much, blood.
Mm.
It's like he's doing way too much. Like, what is he doing? Like,
Yeah.
literally, you nearly won the league, yeah. Well, not really, but you didn't. Like, he was in a title race, yeah. So what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? All you do is tweak little things. You look at the team and you say, yo, like, where did we fall short last season? You just add a couple things in there and you're good.
No, that's spot on. And where they fell short was, I feel like they needed an upgrade on Xhaka. That's the first area they needed to address. An upgrade on Xhaka, probably a player that offers more offensively. Because you have to bear in mind, Xhaka, that's probably limited offensively, still walked out of last season with like 7, 8 goals. So if you get a better player in that position, you might be talking double digits.
And that's more goals than you expect from Declan Rice. He's not a goal scorer.
So the fact that you replaced Xhaka with Havertz was already a downgrade. And the other area they needed to address, and to be fair, they did, is defensively. Like they just needed a bit more depth in case anybody was to get injured. And they got Timber, who's versatile. Like he can play left, right, centrally. He could even play in a double pivot. But he got injured on the first game of the season. But they can still address things defensively. It's just century, bro. Like Havertz, he removes any form of balance in that team. He doesn't press the same way these men do. He's not on the same page as anybody else. And fam, in the final third, like I can comfortably say in the final third, Xhaka is better than him. I actually don't know what Havertz is good at. I'll be honest.
Nothing, bro. And this is why the signing doesn't make sense. Where the manager's choosing to play him doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense, bro. And it's disrupting the cohesion at Arsenal, which is good for us. I hope that they play him in that game, but I have a sneaky feeling that the manager will succumb to the pressure and actually drop him.
Mm, uh, I don't think so because you have to bear in mind if he was to drop him, the only thing he can do is put Party back into midfield.
Exactly. And then put Gabriel back in or whoever.
If he was to do that, it benefits Arsenal as a whole. But
It
I don't
does.
think he will because, bro, you have to bear in mind, like it's. I feel like he's in a very similar boat to us with Anthony, which is this is the player that your manager wanted,
Mm.
and the board and the manager and everybody went all out to secure his services. Arsenal eventually got Havertz for like what 65 m's. You don't
Yep.
just put man on the bench after 3 games. You don't like you're gonna have to find a way to make it work. And the thing is, I think only at maybe the end of the season might Arteta look at himself and be like, you know what? Like I tried to force this project through. It
Mm.
wasn't working, but yo, like I wasn't gonna call quits after 3 games. And it's costing them, I'll be honest, because Party doesn't offer what Ben White offers at right back. Like when he inverts, it's nice. But when he doesn't, it's just like bro, he ain't no overlapping bread. Like he's not really good when it comes to combination play. And Saka benefited a lot from having Ben White at right back.
Yeah. 100%. So yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting one, bro. But he ain't doing them no favors. Hey, big up everyone inside. Smash up the like button. Let's get those likes up. This McTominay stuff, like, bro, like, what is Tuchel doing, bruv? He wanted Declan Rice, and now they're saying that he wants Scott McTominay. Surely this can't be true.
Well, I'll be
Even though I
honest.
think that McTominay might do all right in that team, innit? And you know what it is? Maybe he's managed in the Premier League. He knows about the physicality of the Prem and the physical demands. He's got Harry Kane, and maybe he's thinking, yo, let me get a couple Premier League players in here because this league might be easy for them or whatnot. I don't know what it is, but Scott McTominay, bruv.
The McTominay one is a bit mad. You know what it is? I've always maintained one thing when it comes to McTominay. McTominay in his natural position is okay. He's like a 5 out of 10. He does the job for any bottom of the half team.
Yeah.
With Man United, we always used him in like a double pivot. Yeah, like we always use players in the wrong positions. But I don't know about Bayern because you have to bear in mind that Bayern every season nobody cares about what Bayern do in the German league because it's a given that they're gonna win it. It's about what Bayern do in the Champions League. If you're telling me, come the latter stages of the Champions League, these men are rolling into it with like a McTominay Kimmich pivot, that is trouble. But bro, I'll be real, 30 million, I'm more than happy to let him go, and then them man can sit down and stress about him because that's just one bum out of here.
Yeah. 100%. But yeah, that deal just sounds very, very crazy, bro. Like I'm struggling to see why that would be a deal. Do you know what I mean? But the Gravenberg stuff, yeah, cool. It's nice to be linked with someone that's actually good at football, but bro, I'll be honest, like I can't see Scott leaving for Bayern Munich, bruv.
I think it depends, bro. 30 million, United are in no position to say no. To be fair, United are not going to get 30 million again. Let him go, and bro, you know what it is? I think Tuchel's realized that the physicality of Goretzka's gone, and that's the main reason why they're trying to bin out Goretzka. Yeah, like he was known for one thing and one thing only, his PMP century. That's
Yeah,
gone out of the tank, and now they're looking at who could we sign with what? How many more days left? There's 3 days to go. You
yeah.
want to find a replacement with a similar profile. If you go look all over Europe, you're probably going to be asked to pay what 50, 60, 70 million with 3 days to go. Why not look at a McTominay that's probably surplus to requirements at Manchester United? 30 million is 30 million. Like any business that's done in the next 3 days, it's going to be duds. Like man, them that are not rated at their teams, players
Yeah,
that
yeah,
won
yeah. It's gonna
out.
be players whose clubs aren't already. They don't see a future with them.
Yeah, or you're going to pay double
Yeah,
because a club is going to be like, yo, sweet. Like, because if I want to go out and find a replacement for my man, just know the
I'm gonna have
team
to
is
pay a
also going to cut
premium.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
100%. You know what I mean, and now obviously with Luke Shaw and Malacia being potentially long term injuries, Man United are getting linked with every single left back in their grand, bruv, right now. Latest one, Marcus Alonso. We've been linked with Cucurella. We've been linked with Regulon. What the hell do you make of this, bruv?
All right, Marcus Alonso, I don't want at all. Like bro, like when Chelsea got rid of him, they were celebrating. I watch him at Barca. Like he has, like especially us as a team, where we sit down and always complain about a lack of positional discipline.
Yeah.
He is the prime embodiment of that. This guy plays. Fam, like, there was a period when this guy would play higher than Hazard, and
Yeah,
Hazard
I
is
like
telling
him
him
on the ball, you know, but like everything else is class, bro. But on the ball, he's good.
he's got a decent delivery on him. That's what it is. But let's be real. At the moment, who you putting in those deliveries for? Rashford or I don't know, Martial. So
That's
it
it.
doesn't matter. But nah. Marcus Alonso, no way, because Chelsea fans wanted him gone. Barcelona are dying to get rid of him. So I'm not interested in him. Regulon, no thanks. Like you saw his flaws in a Tottenham shirt.
Yeah,
I'll take Cucurella. Cucurella is the one that I like because I feel like
same.
a year ago when he was at Brighton and he got voted Brighton's player of the season, everybody wanted him. Like literally every single person wanted him. I remember I used to come out and say, yo, like you created at Brighton, I'm a
Same.
fan. Pep wanted him. Eventually Pep didn't pay
He
what
didn't want
Brighton
to pay
wanted.
60 million, yeah.
Chelsea ended up getting him. Nobody performed in that Chelsea shirt last year. Like literally from their best players to their worst. It was a catastrophic season. And people want to sit down and blame him. I'm just taking him because he's very familiar in a role that we're trying to play, but our fullbacks aren't familiar with it. The whole inverting into midfield or playing in a back three. Shaw is very inconsistent with it. Dallo is very inconsistent with it. This guy knows how to play that role. That's the only reason I want him. He's familiar with it.
Yeah, profile wise, he fits. Also, he fits in a sense that Chelsea will be happy to get rid of him. They're saying it's a loan deal as well. They're happy to let go of him on loan. So it means we'll probably just take his wages. But bro, like what have we got to lose? Like you said, nobody played that well in a Chelsea shirt. But I've seen enough of him, yeah, at Brighton for me not to write him off as a player completely. So
Hmm?
I think he's the best of all the players that we've been linked to for sure. So I'm 100% taking Cucurella. And to be fair, like if he does come in, then he's got a nice little run where if he does play well, he's putting a lot of pressure on the two left backs that are there. A lot of pressure because them man are injured, bro. You know, like that. You know, when you come into a club and you know that, yo, fam, I got a run of 8 games, 10 games. I'm gonna play because these men are injured. Sometimes that's
Hmm.
what players need. Like I saw a clip that went around of Anton Ferdinand when he was talking about Jadon Sancho, and he was saying, bro, at the end of the day, yeah, until you give Jadon Sancho, yeah, a run of 10 games, like the manager's been giving Anthony when Anthony's been terrible, and said, you know what, no matter how you play, you're starting the next 10 games. How can you really judge a man? You know, like that. And the same goes for Cucurella. If he comes in, he knows he's getting probably 8 starts in a row to play because there's no competition right now. So he could really come in and make an impression, bruv, and then you never know what goes from there.
Yeah. At the end of the day, like they always say in football, once you get given an opportunity, as long as you make a statement and you take it, you won't get benched unless it's personal, like the manager's got something against you or
Yeah.
he's got some favoritism towards the player that you're replacing. But now, if he comes in, my only concern with Cucurella, I will be honest, is like it's one of those signings where I see the pros of it, I really do, but the cons are crazy because you see the very aggressive style of football that we play at the moment, very transitional on the front foot. It means he's going to be asked to defend a lot of transitions, and his lack of PMP against a league that's full of PMP attackers, it might kill him. Because the thing is, we're not as structured at the back as a Brighton were. And the thing is, when he went to Chelsea, a team that was not structured at the back, everybody saw how he capitulated defensively. That's my only concern with Cucurella. But I'm only happy with him because, like I said, if I was to compare him to Alonso and Reguilon, I'm happy to take the punt on him.
I have to agree, bro. I have to agree. Big up everyone in the chat. I'm just, boy, all your stuff's coming in, bro. Obviously, I see loads of Chelsea fans talking about some Sancho Cucurella thing or something. I haven't seen any of that because I haven't been on Twitter today. Have you seen? Apparently, Chelsea would be interested in Sancho or something like that. It would make sense if they are. He's been linked with Tottenham as well, and he's a Chelsea fan. So I don't really know what's going on. If like I said, like guys, if I was him, I'd be forcing a move out the club because he's been disrespected heavily, especially with the Garnacho stuff. So I'd be like, yo, get me out of this place, innit? So I don't really know what's going on. I hope he doesn't leave, bruv. I hope he doesn't. I hope he doesn't leave though, and especially not for Chelsea. But the way they've been playing in recent weeks, he would kind of suit them, bro. And he's been linked with Spurs, and I think the way Spurs are playing as well, he would enjoy playing at Spurs as well because they're playing some positive attacking football right now, bro. I just feel like he's getting violated at Man United. So it's one of them ones. But if we do let him go after losing Greenwood as well and no one comes in, bro, like we're just weakening ourselves even more, bro. Like again, like it seems like there's no transfer strategy at Manchester United, bro. There's none.
You know what it is? I'm not gonna. The only thing I've heard is he's on Chelsea's list. So I think they've got like a list of 4, 5 potential signings that they're gonna try go in for the next 3 days. As far as I know, he's at the bottom of the list.
Mm.
I don't think United let him go. No. You know what it is? If this offer came in a month ago, I reckon United would have let him go.
Mm.
The fact that it's coming with 3 days to go, and Man United have only played 3 games so far, and we've already got injuries left, right, and center, and that's before the Champions League. That's before the congested Christmas schedule. United are in no position, so that's what it is. But now, if he goes there, do you think he cooks or not?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We're already seeing glimpses this season of him coming into his own, innit? And we've seen it. We saw it in pre-season. We've seen it when he's come off the bench for us as well, bro. He's made an instant impact every single time he's touched the pitch. And he's the only attacking player that we have in the whole team that has the composure and just the ability to slow the game down, bro, and bring his teammates into the game. We don't have anyone else that does that. And quite frankly, for me, it's a very... Like, he's one of those players where, similar to Pogba, yeah, where I can't understand how people can't see the quality that he has. I don't understand it. I just don't understand it, how you cannot see the quality that this guy possesses. Like, this is not a normal footballer that we're talking about. It's not. He's got abilities that a lot of players in the league simply do not have. So when I watch him play, it's very clear to me that the team that he's in and the players that are surrounded by are the reason why we're not getting the best out of him. It's got nothing to do with his ability because his ability is there to be seen. So I don't know. It's a very strange situation where, similar to Pogba, a part of me wants to see him go somewhere and do well because I know that he will do well. There's no point in him staying at Man United if they're going to continue to use him the way they're using him. It doesn't make sense for either of us. It don't make sense for him. It don't make sense for the club.
You know what it is? I'm on a completely different page to you. I'll be honest. With Sancho, I agree with you, which is I don't think anybody's ever come out publicly or said he's a shit player. Like as in,
Nah, people say that, bro.
as in
See,
like,
look at right here. Sancho is shit, bro. Like, bro.
yeah, no, but you know what it is? That's like just 3 words. Like I'm
No,
guessing.
bro. Like, man genuinely think that Sancho's not a good footballer because they don't know football. This is this is what this is what man's dealing with, bro. Like every time Sancho has a 7 out of 10 game, he's trending, bro. A man is saying he's shit. Like this is the world that we're living in right now, bro. I'll be real. This is exactly what it is.
You know what it is? He's not shit. Like I've always maintained. Technically, for me, he's the best in our squad. Like
Well, of course he
technically,
is.
what
And
he
not just
offers on.
technically, mentally as well, bro. Like he's composed. He can pick up the ball in the pocket. He's calm on the ball. He doesn't just panic, bro. Like he's genuinely one of our best players. And he looks like one of our worst a lot of the time, but it's not because of him. Some teams are just not meant for some certain players. Just like Pogba, we brought him in with no plan.
Mm,
Brought him in with no plan. None
okay.
whatsoever.
So if I was to say to you right now, Sancho's been here for what, 2 years?
This is his second season. Yeah, this is his second season, I believe. Yeah,
Third
but
season, no?
I don't know. Actually, I don't. Yeah, last season was his
Yeah,
second
it's
season. He
third
came
season.
in under Oli, and
Mm.
then remember he was away last season. He only played like 3 months or some bullshit. I don't know, bruv. I don't know the maths of it. Yeah, but the bottom line is Everyone that's got sense knows that this club hasn't been run properly and this club is the problem. The only thing I blame him for is coming to this club in the first place. He should have never come here.
Sweet. So from a footballing point of view, he's a
Yeah.
baller. He's a good player. But I'll be honest, bro. The reason why me personally, I don't want Sancho to start. To be fair, I wanted him to start against Forest. I was very surprised that it was Martial that was brought in for Garnacho. I was like, it would be the same three, just Garnacho out for Sancho. Sancho just lacks the application, bro. Like, I'll be real. Like, Sancho, and this is why I don't think he bangs at Chelsea. I really don't think so. Because when you look at that Chelsea team, the one thing they ask from every single one of their attackers, and at the moment, all three of them are bringing it, especially because Chilwell was one of their attackers at the moment. All three of them press. Sancho
Bro,
comes up for half an hour.
Sancho does press, bro. And the funny thing is, yeah, when you look at his ball pressures and his pressing and that, bro, he ranks one of the highest in the team. It's a myth that Sancho doesn't press. Rashford doesn't press. We can't say that Sancho doesn't press. Like, Sancho statistically presses. He does.
No,
Like,
that's fine. Especially when you compare it to Rashford. Rashford don't press. My issue with Sancho is the fact that he will press for like 15, 20 minutes. And then you look at Jadon and he's fully gassed out. Like, there's a reason why last year Sancho, 55 minutes, would get hooked off. And everybody would complain, like, yo, why is Sancho being taken off? When they put the camera on Sancho on the 55th minute, he looks dead. Bro, you have to bear in mind, if he wants to go to a Pochettino team that presses relentlessly, like, are you seeing how much pressing Jackson does? How much pressing Sterling does? I don't think Sancho would be able to hack it yet. But secondly, you have to bear in mind, if he's going to go play out wide at Chelsea, he needs to do exactly what Raheem is doing. I don't know if you've watched any of Chelsea's games.
I have.
Like, pick up the ball, show intent, take on your man. That's not Sancho's game. So I don't think he bangs at Chelsea, I'll be honest.
I think he does great at Chelsea. I believe that he's got midfielders like Enzo that he can connect with, players like Jackson, who is he's a connector. Sancho will connect with him. Sancho can't connect with Rashford. Rashford is short-circuited blood. There's no connection with Rashford, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I think that he would absolutely cook at Chelsea. I completely disagree. I think it's the opposite. Chelsea have got players you can connect with. You can connect with Raheem Sterling. Like, he played for Manchester City. You can connect. Cannot connect with Manchester United players because most of them are brain dead. They don't have the intelligence and they don't have the technical security to connect with. So I believe that Sancho does extremely well at Chelsea. And also, he can play centrally as well. Like someone said, he can play in the 10, where Nkunku can play. And I think his fitness as well. I think Sancho's fitness is also, or his lack of fitness is overstated as well. It's overstated. Because in pre-season, he's looked like our sharpest and our fittest player. I think a lot of the time when you look at Sancho, yeah, like first pre-season, he didn't have a great pre-season. Second one, he had the mental health issues and he didn't have a proper pre-season either, bro. Like, this is his first proper pre-season where you can say, yo, Sanchez had a proper pre-season. He looks fit. So there's no doubt about it that I think he could look after himself a bit better physically, because there's been question marks over his fluctuation of his weight and stuff like that. But when Sancho's on it, I think he's just different gear, bruv. I think he's just different gear. Like, when I look at him as an England player, like when I look at England's team, I don't rate many of their players. You know, like Jadon Sancho, if he's 100% fit and he's playing well, he's right up there, bro. Do you know what I mean? And I don't rate players highly like that. But Sancho's got too many intangibles for me, yeah, for me to think that he won't go somewhere else and play football. I think first and foremost, for someone like Sancho, he has to be enjoying his football. And I don't think he's enjoying his football at Man United. Not really. And who would? If you're a player like Sancho, who's a maverick, who's a flair player, you need to play where you're enjoying your football. You cannot enjoy your football at Man United. It's horrible. Do you know what I mean? Like, the title of the show is It's Hard to Watch. Bro, it's so hard to watch. Imagine how hard it is to play in when you're someone like Jadon Sancho, where you're playing for a team that is happy to give the ball to the other team for most of the game. and you're someone who the majority of your qualities are technical and not physical. How can you play in a team like Manchester United? That's for players like Rashford that are not good on the ball, bro. That play in moments and that. Sancho wants to get his foot on the ball, connect with people, enjoy the game. Tottenham are getting 80% possession, bruv. Like, you want to play in a team like that? You want to play in a team like Manchester City that are probing, getting on the ball, pressurizing other teams. What, a team like Man United that's going to be at home and letting the other team have the ball? I just think that they're a match made in hell, like Man United and Jadon Sancho. Genuinely, I don't think it's nothing on him. I think we got so far to go. Even a team like Brighton, he would enjoy playing at, bro. Like, it's us, bro. I be real. Like, we're making Casemiro look bad. So it's one of them ones where people are starting to question Lissandro. Last season he was the best centre back in the league, and now people are questioning him. We have to look at ourselves.
But you know what it is? Like all of those teams that you just mentioned, if I was to compare Sancho to every single one of their wingers, he comes at the bottom of the barrel. I'll be honest. Because, like you say, sweet, Sancho needs players to link up with this and that. Bro, like,
What with the
I've
barrel?
seen
What,
Sancho
Chelsea got better wingers than Jadon Sancho? Who?
Wait. So are you trying to... Wait, so who
What you think Sterling's better than Sancho?
In our current setup, yes.
Sorry? You think
the way
Raheem
we
Sterling...
are set up to play...
No. Forget that. No, we're talking about footballers. Forget us, bro. Forget us, because I've already said Man United is the problem in this situation, bro. Raheem Sterling is not a better footballer than Jadon Sancho. So, there's no way that he don't improve Chelsea if he goes there. That's my point. I'm not talking about people suiting our style, because our style is horrendous, bro. Like, technical players don't suit the way Man United play. They don't.
Okay, sweet.
Which is why we got Bruno and we got Mount. You put KDB in Man United, it's awful. He's doing nothing.
Cool. So you're saying, all right, sweet. He needs to be in like a possession-based team. He needs to have players around him to cook, this and that. Why is it last year, 2 games that Sancho dropped a man of the match performance in, they were the most transitional games we played? Is it a one-off? Is it a fluke? Like, he dropped the man of the match performance against Chelsea towards the end of the season. That game was just pure rock and roll. And I was seeing Sancho pick up the ball, take on Lewis Hall. Sancho was running the show, and he wasn't linking up with anybody. He was carrying the ball 30, 40 yards. There was a game before that in a month. It was against Everton. I think we beat them 1-0, 1 or 2-0.
Yeah.
Sancho, once again, ran the show, proper transitional ball. Bro, you have to bear in mind, like, he came from a transition-based team. Don't get me wrong, they were a bit more controlled. Like, their transitions were controlled.
And he had outlets, and him and Haaland were combining.
Okay, so what is it now? Is it the play style? Is it the outlets? Like, bro, you see with Sancho, I rate him technically, but there's just so many excuses when it comes to him, because it's like,
there's not.
Bro, in the league, Chelsea would not pay money to sign Sancho, where all he's gonna offer out wide is just ball retention, 1-2s. Well, eventually they're gonna look at him and be like, sweet, you're bringing ball retention. But in ISO, I need you to do something, bro. We've seen Jadon Sancho in isolation. He does nothing. He needs to do more. Let's be real. Like, at times.
I don't agree.
So you're telling me it's fully gone wrong at Man United. I agree with you, by the way, in terms of the way we currently play doesn't suit him to a T. But the only reason why I don't fully agree is because I've seen him last year come off the bench and be our best player when the game is just end to end. I've seen him start games and drop a minimum 8 out of 10 performance when it's a fully stretched game. So I'm thinking...
Yeah, because he's a good player, bro. Like, just because he can play in a system, that doesn't mean the system suits him. That's not the argument. It's just like there were times where Pogba played in a double pivot and he played well. He played on the left wing and he played well. But that doesn't mean that that's his position. That doesn't mean that's the football that suits his attributes the most. It doesn't mean that. Because this season, every time Sancho's come on, he's been the best player on the pitch. And we're still playing transition football.
Bro, we've had 3 games. Which games were those?
Bro, what do you mean, bro? Like,
bro, wait, so he was good against Forest? He done nothing.
Bro, what are you talking about? Bro, every time Sancho comes on, bro, the team looks better, bro. every single game this season, and he was our best player in pre-season. You're gonna dispute that as well?
Bro, that's preseason. I saw
No,
Martial
bro, you're
turn.
gonna dispute that. Every time the Bears come on the pitch, yeah, the team's improved, our attacking's improved 100%. Our attack does not look better without him in it. Currently, it doesn't. You're gonna dispute that?
Okay, but when you say okay, him coming on and looking good, I fully disagree with that because bro, he came on against Nottingham Forest half an hour. Bro, he wasn't even involved. Like it got to a period where I was like, yo, did Sancho even come on? So Wolves, he was good. I'll give you that. Wolves, he came on, yeah, fair play. What he offered us in comparison to Garnacho, I was like, sweet. Tottenham, it was mid. Pre-season, he was cold. I'll be honest. Pre-season, yeah, he done his thing. But we said the same thing last summer. Like Sancho was scoring against Crystal Palace. Everybody was telling me, yo, this is Sancho's year. And then, boom, first game of the season against Brighton, pocketed. Second game of the season against Brentford, pocketed. So it's like,
Bro,
bro,
hey, bro, we're talking about this season, bro. That's what we're talking about. We can always go backwards. Do you know what I mean? We can go backwards to when Rashford was scoring loads of goals. I think we can both agree that he's been crap every single game this season. So
yeah.
we don't need to go backwards, innit? I'm saying currently, yeah, just because a player plays well in a certain game and the game is balanced a certain way, that doesn't mean that that's playing to their strengths. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that at all. It's just like, for instance, yeah, right now, yeah, when I said the Sterling thing, you got Chelsea fans saying, oh, yeah, Sterling's cooking at the moment. Last season, you wanted to sell the guy. All of a sudden, he's had 2 good games, and all of a sudden, he's amazing again. Like, what are you talking about, bro? Like, based on last season, I don't know a single Chelsea fan that didn't want Raheem Sterling sold. I don't know one. So let's not do that, innit? Like, when I'm talking about a man as a footballer, it's not about how you're performing in one game or how you're performing at the moment. It's across the board. You know, like that. Can Raheem Sterling keep up this this form for the whole season? Nobody knows, innit? This is the closest to Man City Raheem Sterling that we're seeing since he's joined Chelsea. Could be because it's a new system and a new coach. So because of that, it's closer to what he likes doing. And maybe last season it was the system why he wasn't playing well. We'll find out at the end of the season. But we can't turn around and pretend that certain players don't play better in certain systems. We can't pretend that. And also, Sterling's playing on the right now. And he was playing on the left before. And he's better on the right. So we can't take context out of arguments when it suits us. We can't do that. Or else then what's the point in having a conversation?
No, but you know what it is? Fair enough. So the whole system point, I agree. Like a system makes or breaks a player, especially in the modern game. My issue with Sancho, and this is one that nobody can dispute, is if from day one he struggled, like from day one he struggled, and he hasn't even given me a 6 out of 10, I'll be like, you know what, fair play. Like you're struggling, you're drowning out there, you have to leave. Bro, with Sancho, it's just pure inconsistency because, like I said to you, so wait. So you see in preseason, he done well, and we were still playing the same style of football. But as soon as the season starts, we're now blaming the style of football.
No, he was playing in a different position in preseason. He was playing through the middle.
Oh, so
He
now
hasn't
it's
played
position.
he hasn't played through the middle there. In that system, yeah, playing through the middle just suits him better, bro. Like that's just all it is. Like it is what it is. The style of football's still not great, but the difference is it gives him the freedom to get on the ball and link. When you're out on the wings and you're relying on quick transitions, it suits players like Garnacho more and Rashford more than it does Sancho, which is why the manager is choosing them ahead of him.
Okay, is it not a concern to you that we spent 75 million on a winger that after 2 years we're now all on the same page? Well, I'm not on the same page to be fair, but as in after 2 years we're now thinking this guy can't play wing. Is
But he
that not a
can play
problem?
wing. But he can play wing though. I just don't believe he can play wing playing this style of football. Because if you remember when we had Ralphie and we were playing the 4-2-2, that was
Yeah.
some of the best football that he played in the 4-2-2. A formation, yeah, and a pressing style that's very similar to what he did in Germany, bro. So it's not that he can't play out wide, bro. Do you know what I mean? It's not that. Systems are in place for a reason. Like we can't pretend that football is not even more so today a system orientated game than it's ever been. It is. We can't just not acknowledge systems anymore. Like we can't do that. Like gone are the days, yeah. There's very few players in world football right now that are so good it doesn't matter what system you play them in, they're gonna give you the same level of performance, bro. Like you can count them on one hand. You can count them on one hand, bro. Like, do you know what I mean? We even saw it with Liverpool, with Mo Salah, who scored so many goals for Liverpool, and as soon as they changed the system, it affected him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's what you would call a reliable, seasoned goal scorer. And if it can affect him, then why are next man immune, bruv? Why are next man immune of system changes affecting them? Like we can't do this, bro. And this is the problem. We can't be picking and choosing like when systems affect players and when systems don't affect players. We're seeing right now, yeah, with Caicedo now. He was at Brighton, he done his thing, yeah. Man are making fun of him. 2-3 games into Chelsea, all of a sudden, man's dusted again. And then look at Basuma under Conte and look at Basuma under the new manager. So we're gonna pretend that didn't happen as well.
No, but that's fine. Like I completely agree with that.
Yeah,
But
but it's
what I'm
football,
saying is,
bro.
yeah, it is normal. And by the way, he won't be the first or the last player that we sign that fails to live up to expectations. That's sweet. But like I always say, my issue with Sancho is the fact that I've seen him perform under different managers in different systems. I've seen him perform out wide on the left, and then I've seen us put him on the right and him perform. Sancho is just inconsistency. That's all it is. Like you made the point earlier on. The whole is it Anton Ferdinand where he goes, if you were
Sure.
to give him a game, a 10
Give
run
him
of
10
games,
games, yeah, and tell him he's gonna play no matter what.
would he perform or not? Out of those 10 games, we put Sancho in his natural position because I know what's going to happen. We're going to play Sancho as a 10 or as a false 9. And then after a few games, everybody's going to be like, yo, you're misprofiling him. You're playing him in the wrong position. If Sancho plays 10 games, how many out of 10 do you reckon he performs in?
I think what currently?
Yeah, currently.
I think he performs in the majority of them. I think he performs in the majority of them. You see what my problem with the whole Sancho thing is? Like someone said in the chat before, that I care more about ability than I do players contributing and stuff. What the hell do people call contribution in football? Because contribution
Mm.
in football now is GA. If you don't get GA, you're not contributing. That's not football. That's not football. There's a lot of players that contribute without scoring goals. There's a lot of players that contribute without scoring goals. But now in the modern game, if you're not scoring goals, you're not contributing. Like that's not football. Like even providing a solid base here for your team to build attacks off is contributing. When he comes off the bench, the way he slows the game down and enables the rest of the team to get up the pitch so we can sustain pressure on the other team. Because Rashford doesn't do that. Every time you get the ball to Rashford, head down, kicks it, tries to run past someone, it goes off. We can't build attacks with Rashford. We can't build attacks with Anthony. He's the only attacker that we have that we can build attacks off. That's a contribution. That changes the whole flow of the game. Like all these things, yeah, there's no stats for that. You can't quantify what he gives us a lot of the time. A lot of stuff he gives us are intangible, bro. And the problem is with players like him, it's like if you're not actually watching him, you don't see what he gives you unless you fully understand the game, bro. Like he's a good footballer, bro. A very good footballer. So I don't understand. Like even my need to justify the qualities that he has confuses me. And then on the flip side, players like Bruno, do you know what I mean, that you rate, yeah, it's like I can watch this brother for the whole game and genuinely say, yo, this guy's awful. But then he'll come off the pitch with a goal and an assist somehow, a penalty and an assist, and all of a sudden it's like, yo, he's had a good game. No, he has not. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where that's where football is right now. That's where football is right now. If you got goal and assist, everything else you do outside of that gets swept under the carpet. So man are basically saying if Sancho don't start scoring goals, then he doesn't contribute. And it's similar with Jack to a certain degree as well. Jack Grealish. I see people doing stat comparisons between Grealish and Sancho. Grealish had a better season than Sancho last season. Sancho had a better GA. And people were using that as a stick to beat Jack Grealish with. Even though Jack Grealish definitely performed at a much higher level than Jadon last season. Like, these kind of arguments are weird, bro. Like, to me, they don't make sense.
All right. So you see with the whole, I don't agree with the whole.
Or do you
If he
think
was
that
to play, he has to
do you
get
rate
G.
Jack Grealish as well? Or do you think that he's not good?
No, I rate Jack, but I'll be real. If Jack puts up similar numbers to last year, I'm asking questions because I
What
get,
questions are you asking, bro?
bro. I'm not gonna lie. What you pay
What's there to
100 M's
ask?
for a guy? You're paying 100 M's for a guy that's giving you 4 goals a season. And the thing is, fair enough. I know what you're gonna say to me. What he brings to the game, I get it. I completely get it. But if you're going to play for the most productive team in the league, a team that's got DMs finishing the season on 6, 7 goals, and you're chipping in with 4, nah, bro, nah. What 100 M's? Rants, you can't be telling me you can justify paying 100 M's for a guy that just slows the game down, bro. You can get
That's not all he
any.
does, bro. That's not all he does. That's oversimplifying a complicated thing, bro.
So what is it?
You don't just slow the game down. Like you create space for your teammates. Like, bro,
Okay.
when Jack Grealish draws 2 or 3 players to the ball, bro, you're creating spacing for other
Mm-hmm.
players, bro. Do you know what I mean? Football's a simple game, but at the same time, it's not. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're someone that commits 2 or 3 players by drawing people into the ball and then you're releasing the ball and you're giving your teammates more space, you cannot buy you cannot buy that. You can't quantify that statistically. You can't do any of those things. There's people in here that watch basketball as well. It's the same thing when you look at what Draymond does at Golden State. The way he sets screens and the way he play makes, yeah, for Steph to get these open looks to shoot these 3 pointers. Like, when you're setting screens for other players and being unselfish and attracting players to the ball and creating space on the court for people to get open looks to get their shots off, yeah, there's not a stat for that. These are intangible assets, bro. This is what they are, and that's what Jack does. He doesn't just slow the game down. He commits players, he moves players out of their position because he carries the ball and he draws people in and then he releases it. And he draws fouls. How many goals did City score from set pieces last season? I think they were up there with one of the best for scoring set pieces. Guess who's winning most of these? Jack Grealish. So how am I gonna say that, yo, like he just slows the game down? He doesn't do that. That's oversimplifying what he does.
Bro, that still doesn't justify 100 M's. I'll be honest.
Bro, that's
It it,
crazy,
it,
man.
it
Bro,
doesn't.
Caicedo costs 115. We need to stop talking about how much Jack Grealish costs, bro. It's not about the fee. It's what the player's doing, bro.
Bro, fair enough. As in, okay. So you went through a list of all the things that he brings to the team and how it benefits them and this and that. Bro, you can still offer all of those things and offer something offensively. Like,
But
I
that is
sit down and watch
offensive.
Manchester City so much. Yeah,
That
it
is
is
offensive, though.
offensive. It's a different type of offensive. But I sit down and watch Manchester City so many times. And the thing is, I disagree when people say, like, oh, all he does is pick up the ball and pass it backwards and this and that. I agree. Like, ball retention, this and that. I get it. Bro, at the end of the day, let's not make it sound like he doesn't get himself into dangerous areas and fail to put the ball into the back of the net. Let's not make it sound like so many times he's had the ball in dangerous areas, he's made the wrong decision. Just because he benefits the team in other ways doesn't mean I'm going to justify you playing for a team that every season averages the most goals. Every player in that team probably finishes on like a 10 GA, but with him, he finishes on 4. But we're going to
All
sit
right,
down and
so
praise
but what players in the world, yeah, can offer everything that Jack offers, yeah, and goals? Just name one, because I
Hazard
don't
done
know
it.
any.
Hazard done it in a worse team season after
Hazard,
season.
yeah, Eden Hazard is finished now. I said right now in football.
Why does it have to be right now?
It has to be right now, bro. Do you know what I mean? Because Eden Hazard, we're talking about one of the best players of his era and probably the best player, arguably, to some people in the Premier League era.
Hmm?
Well then, so using Eden Hazard as one player, like that's not enough, bro.
You asked for one. Okay,
No,
sweet.
but
You
one
want
that's playing right now. Because I don't
what?
know any.
Someone
Someone
that's
saying
playing.
Vinicius, someone said Vinicius Jr. They're not the same kind of player.
Okay, what about Kivicha? Replica of Grealish.
He's not, but I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. I think that's a good comparison. Yeah, I'd like to see him play in the Prem, but it's a good comparison, 100%. In terms of the way he carries the ball and commits players, absolutely. I don't know his GA, so I can't even comment on his stats. I don't know. I just know he's a player I like to watch aesthetically, but he does keep the ball well. He looks less of a playmaker than Jack, and more of a direct kind of throwback winger, like closer to like a Frank Ribery kind of player. That's not the same as Jack, but I hear you though. Do you know what I mean? It's similar. Don't say Saka. It's not that, bruv. You know, it's not that. And that's no disrespect to Saka, but him and Grealish stylistically are not the same. Grealish is an anomaly of a player, the way he carries the ball, the way he draws fouls, the way he connects. Bro, he's different. Bro, he's crazy. He's a crazy player, bro. Like, he's a player I rate so highly, and he's a player that there's not many replicas of him. Do you know what I mean? So, like, I don't feel like it's fair to talk about his GA as a criticism. Like, I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair. I couldn't look at a player and say, bro, if you're not scoring more goals, yeah, then everything else you bring to the team is null and void.
No. As in, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, sweet. I get his game as a whole. Like, even for example, last year, he didn't put up the best of numbers, but I was like, sweet. Like, I saw what you contributed. But to grow as a player, we have to go from sitting down talking about what he offers in possession, and we have to start talking about A, what he offers in possession, and B, what he offers in front of goal. That's how you grow as a player. You can't stay your whole career just being a player that's known for slowing down the game, circulating the ball. No, for you to grow, you need to start adding more. That's what the best of players done. So, and that's why I used Hazard, bro. And the thing is, Hazard played in a 10 times shitter team with Chelsea. But season after season, besides that one poor season, I think it was under Mourinho, he continued to affect the game. And he was one player that I could comfortably say to you, Hazard was one player that could get man of the match without a goal or an assist.
Yep.
That's what it is. But
Jack can do that as well. He regularly is the best player on the pitch, and he doesn't score an assist, bro. There's so many times where I'm like, yo, he's running this game, taking players on, connecting. Do you know what I mean? Playing passes, winning fouls. Bro, there's loads of games, bro. He's probably one player that jumps to my mind where I'm like, yo, he can do that. Best player on the pitch, didn't score. Martial was like that for us sometimes. Didn't score, but bro, winning fouls, winning penalties for Bruno to stat pad, taking people on, doing all these things, bro. Unbelievable. Playing out of his skin, bro. Man of the match. No goals, no assists. Bobby Firmino could do it for Liverpool as well. Unplayable, like sometimes. Couldn't get nowhere near him. No goal, no assists. Best player on the pitch. There are players that can do that, bro. Do you know what I mean? But that doesn't mean you're not effective. Like, I don't feel like judging a player solely on their output, yeah, is fair. There's different profiles of players. Judge Rashford on his output, yes, because he doesn't give you much else.
No.
But certain other players, you don't just judge purely on output. I don't think that's fair. It's just like not all midfielders you judge on goals. You have to judge Bruno and GA because that's the reputation he's built for himself. Do you know what I mean? But you don't judge Enzo on GA. You wouldn't. You just watch him play and the way he conducts the orchestra at Chelsea and say, yo, he controls that midfield. Controls the tempo, doesn't it? But you don't judge him on goals. Like, you don't, innit? So, I don't feel like it's fair, bro. Do you know what I mean? I don't feel like it's fair at all. And I just think we're footballers. I think if we take context out of it, then it just turns into, you don't have good stats, you're crap. Or you have good stats, so you're good. I don't think that's the right way to be judging footballers.
No, I agree with that. The whole using stats as your first point, sweet, I agree with it. But you can definitely use stats as a point, especially when it comes to GA. 100% you can. Because the way I look at Grealish is I'm like, sweet, I get what you bring to the table. But bro, the thing is, you know it as well. Like 4 goals a season, 5 goals a season now. In the most productive team in the country. And it's like
you're in a team that's got a centre forward that's scoring 40 goals. So why do I need to score? I'm doing other things.
Because bro, at the end of the day, it's better to have 2 goal scorers than 1. Because what happened to City last year when Haaland wasn't scoring? It's always good to split.
You've got KDB, you've got Mahrez that are going to score.
So why is it all of these men can score and affect the game, but when it comes to Grealish, it's sweet, just affect the game, don't score?
I'm not saying that, bro. I'm not saying that he couldn't improve on his goal scoring. But what I'm saying is, yeah, I cannot criticize what he brings to the game based on the fact that he doesn't score goals because he's a pass-first player, bro. Like, probably the reason why he doesn't score many goals is because he's not greedy, bro. The reason why Rashford scores so many goals is because he's always looking for a shot. whereas Sancho's always looking for a pass. Grealish is always looking for a pass.
Mm.
Like, that's the reason why they score more goals, because they shoot more. Like, do you know what I mean? And I'm sure there's a stat that shows the players that shoot the most score the most. CR7, prime example. The reason why he scores so many goals is because he takes so many shots. Like, statistically, yeah, Messi probably, I think I saw a stat where Messi shoots a third of the amount of times of CR7 and still scoring as many goals, bro. And he's shooting, like, literally, Ronaldo's shooting, like, nearly 3 times more than him, bro. Like,
No, that's
it's a volume thing.
no, that's true. But I'm saying at the end of the day, bro, if we paid 100 M's for a guy, even you, because if he was playing for us, even you would be in a position where you'd be like, sweet, I need you to affect games more. And it's fair. And it is fair criticism, by the way,
But
because
you
I
can
never
affect
used.
games without scoring, Haj. This is my argument. You can, and also you can score goals, but not affect the game.
Okay, but you're making it sound like Grealish has an effect on games week in, week out. He doesn't.
But he does, bruv. Last season, Jack Grealish here was top 2, top 3 best players on the pitch for Man City in the majority of the games, bro. That's why he started the majority of the games. Bro, look at the players in his team, bro. And Pep was picking him every single week, bro.
There was the thing is, what I say now is gonna sound like I'm slandering Grealish. I'm not. But the thing is, bro, like, okay, firstly, there was no alternative to him on the left-hand side. They
Foden
had
has
injuries.
played many times for Man City on the left and played well. So there was a
But
Foden.
what it is, and you know what the thing is, they say the same thing about Foden, by the way. Like Foden is a player that I rate very highly. But bro, everybody even says it. They're like, yo, Foden, we get what you bring to the team. But eventually, you're gonna have to add output. Bro, output is important. At the end of the day, goals win you games. I need output. Fair enough. What you're contributing might lead to a goal. It might lead to an opportunity. But if you're an attacker, you need to start bringing that to the table. At the end of the day, the best attackers are ones that can affect games without GA, but that can also affect games with GA. At the moment, Grealish is only affecting them without GA. And the reason why I'm saying, yo, in his 3rd season, I'm beginning to look at him and think, yo, Grealish, I want more from you this year, is because first season, fair enough. Like, he needed time to adapt, this and that, sweet. Last season, he was quality. Now it's your 3rd season. Every player that's gone to Manchester City, every attacker that's played for Manchester City, 2nd, 3rd season, they started to get the GA because it's the most productive team. I'm not going to look at Grealish any differently. Like, for example, Mahrez in his 1st season, he didn't really get that much GA. I'll be honest, he struggled. Mahrez after that was putting consistent 10, 15 GA season after season. So it's very fair. And the thing is, you should be on the same page. You should be looking
Yeah,
at Grealish.
Mahrez is a consistent goal scorer for City. At one point, he was also on their penalties.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of them ones where, like, Jack Grealish will never be a goal scorer. So does that mean if you're not a goal scorer, then you're just not a good player or you're not contributing? That's what I'm trying to understand. Because he's not a goal scorer. He's not a goal scorer. Like, by nature, he's not a goal scorer. Everything about him is unselfish and it's about making the players around him better. He's not a goal scorer. Like, that's not something he can add to his game. He must be like 27 now or something like that. He's not going to add being more selfish and scoring goals to his game. So that means that eventually what you see him not playing at Man City, they're going to drop him. Because he's not contributing, because he's not scoring.
No, but like at Villa, he put double digits and he was running the shows for them.
Yeah, because he was literally carrying the team and he had a free role and he was doing that. He doesn't need to do that at Man City. He's doing a completely different job.
So what you're saying to me is Pepper's told him just do this and the goals will come from the other players.
No, but bro, he said himself, bro, when he first came in, Pep's thing was don't lose the ball. Don't lose the ball. Whereas at Villa, it was give the ball to Jack. Completely different thing. Like, he said it. He said when he first came into City, he was terrified of losing the ball because Pep hates it, bro. So before he would pick up the ball in his own half, take risks, try and run past people, Pep was like, no, less of that. Keep the ball. Recycle. Boom, 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 boom. It's a different manager, different playing style, different responsibilities. He could do that at Villa. Like, he can't do that at Man City. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's not even, he's not being asked to do the same job, bro.
The way I look at it is he's not being asked to do the same job. He's being asked to do the same job as the majority of City's wingers in the past. And the majority of them have struggled in the beginning, but eventually they have become like the complete wingers. Like when you look at every Manchester City winger, we always look at them and idolize them because we're like, yo, they can do everything. Like they can affect games, they can create chances, they can score goals, they can do everything. That's what I want of Grealish this year. Like I don't understand because I'm not gonna lie, like the chat is funny. It's like it's being interpreted as like I don't rate the guy and this and that. It's not even that, but it's like sooner rather than later, you need to start asking for more. And I'll do the same thing even if we signed him at Manchester United. I'll defend him and I'll be like, sweet, you guys don't get what he's bringing to the table. But in your third season, why is everybody eating but you? And if it's a case of, he's very selfless and this and that, sweet, become selfish. I'd rather have another winger that can score goals than one that doesn't. Because at the end of the day, I want threats all over the pitch rather than just having one threat. That's the way I look at it. And this year, I need some more, bro. I really do. Because
so if you want a winger that scores goals, then one that doesn't. So you're saying you'd rather have Rashford on the left than Jack Grealish?
No, because what it is with Grealish is, as I've said, Grealish affects games without goals. Now I want him to affect it with goals. Rashford doesn't affect games without goals. So at the end of the day, of course, I'll pick Grealish over Rashford. Rashford, for me, if he don't score, it's a 0 out of 10. Grealish cannot score and still give me a 6, 7, 8. But now I want him this year to get to a stage where even if he doesn't have much of an effect on a game in terms of his overall performance, you can still get that goal. Because, bro, let's be real, goals win you games. He needs to add it into his locker. Bro, those are the best wingers. Those are the best wingers. The ones that can affect games in so many different ways. And you know it, every top winger that we've ever spoken about, that we've ever watched, got themselves to a level where on the odd game, they might be poor, but they still walk out of it with 2 goals. Or the following week, they walk out of it with 0 goals, but they've dropped a 10 out of 10. That's the level that I want Grealish to get at. Because then that's when he can have a consistent effect on a game in different ways. At the moment, he's having an effect on a game in one way only.
I get that, but he's never going to be a goal scorer playing the way that he's playing for Man City. So, you know what I mean? I just think that we have to take each player on face value. You're right about Rashford saying that he don't affect the game. When he doesn't get GA, he doesn't affect the game. But that's how I feel about Bruno. That's exactly how I feel about him. If he doesn't score an assist, we're looking at a 0 out of 10, 40 dispossessions. 40 turnovers. That's what we're looking at. If he doesn't get GA, that's why I can't stomach it. So I would rather somebody that's contributing positively to the team, even when they're not putting up numbers, than someone that only contributes when they're putting up numbers. Because then, when the inevitable goal drought comes, or the GA drought comes, what are you doing? You're a liability.
Yeah, but the thing is, you can do both. Like you don't have to be like very inefficient in possession. Like for example, I've seen players that create chances, score goals, have an effect on games, and probably have the best ball retention on the pitch. Like Grealish can do that. Let's be real. Like Mahrez does it. Mahrez don't really surrender the ball that much. Like he probably does the most in that team because he takes the most risk. Yeah, but bro, if you compare him in comparison to other wingers in the league, he still walks out of a game with a goal, a few chances created, and he's retained the ball. Grealish can. That's why, like, I wouldn't compare Grealish to Bruno because Bruno is very aggressive. Grealish is very passive. But Grealish can still get to a stage where he retains the ball. He's not surrendering it 40 plus times. He still had an effect on a game in 2, 3, 4, 5 different ways.
But Jack could be more aggressive, but guess what? They've got De Bruyne, so he doesn't need to be. Do you understand? He was probably more aggressive for Aston Villa because they didn't have anyone to do that. For Villa, he was their main creative outlet. He's not that for Man City. So the version of Jack that you're seeing is the version that's doing exactly what the manager's telling him to do, which is why he plays every week. Do you get what I'm saying? So I don't feel it's fair. The burden of what?
KDB's out till Jan.
Yeah.
Who's going to carry the burden now? Like, who's going to take ownership?
They'll share it. They'll share it between Bernardo. They'll share it between Kovacic. They'll share it between Foden. They'll share it between Grealish. They'll share it between... Who else have I missed? Maybe Rodri as well. They'll share it, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? They'll share it. They got enough players to share it, bro. That's what it is. Like, aggressive playmaking, yeah, is not for everyone. Like, that's literally KDB's that's KDB's. Well, it's not his best asset. I believe his best asset is his shooting. However, aggressive playmaking is primarily what he's known for. Now they don't have him. There'll be other players to do it. There'll be other
Hmm?
players. So I don't think that he's playing that way because he's incapable. I believe he's playing that way because that's what the manager wants from him. And he's fortunate enough to be in a good enough team that the sole responsibility doesn't have to fall on him. But I don't believe that I don't believe that he's a limited player. I believe that he plays the way the manager wants him to play.
That I agree because he has come out and said it before. But at the same time, I don't think Pep would be looking at him and thinking, sweet, you've got all of this talent, but I'm only gonna utilize 25% of it. Like every player I said that's played under Pep, they've said, yo, like I've grown the most under him. I've become a 10 times, 20 times better player. Bro, Man City did not pay 100 M's for Grealish just to use 25% of him. And that's why with him this year, I'm like, sweet, KDB is out of the picture. I think even when KDB's back, I think they'll just use him for the Champions League. KDB is out of the picture. Alvarez, second season, but you don't know what you're really going to get out of him. Foden in a completely new position. Out wide, it's looking like either Bernardo or Doku. That's where I'm looking at Grealish, and I'm like, you know what? Like, sweet. And I wouldn't be surprised if this year he is given more license to be a bit more aggressive, to get into better areas. And that's why I'm saying this year, I just need more than 4-5. It's fair. It really is fair because I wouldn't be asking this of any other player. Like, for example, if I knew Grealish was shit and I was like, you know what, you can only do one thing and one thing only, sweet, stick to it. But I know he can add goals. I know he can offer so much more than what he's offering at the moment. And that's why this year I'm like, I need a bit more from you.
Fair. That's fair enough. You know what I mean? Time will tell, innit? Time will tell exactly. But I genuinely think that we're seeing Grealish do what he's being told. I already said it. If he was at a team where he had more freedom, somewhere maybe like a Man United that has no structure really, you'd probably see more. A more aggressive dribbler, Grealish, similar to Aston Villa, but that's not his role right now. So we have to see. Hey, big up my man for the super chat. He said, "Did I see Bowen's goal? Would I take him at Man United?" The answer is no. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, we need to stop doing this. Firstly, guys, there's 1,500 of you lot in here. Let's get the likes up. We haven't even got 500 likes. Let's get those up. Like, someone like Jared Bowen, yeah, like, is not a Manchester United player. And we do this a lot. Like, someone has a decent start to the season, scores a decent goal, and we say, would you take them at Man United? Bro, listen, he's a good Premier League level player, nothing more than that. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want Jared Bowen anywhere near Manchester United. Don't get me wrong, yeah. He'd give us more than Anthony's given us, but that's not the bar right now. It's not the bar right now. No, we saying on Jared Bowen.
No, I don't rate him. I've never rated him. I think his movement in the final third is good. I think his finishing is very inconsistent. I think his technical ability is piss poor. Like it's very bad. It's something a lot of people don't realize because they don't really sit down and watch West Ham like that. But nah. Like even when he was getting England shouts, I was like, no way. So nah, I don't want it.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? And guys, big up everyone inside. I'll be real. I'm not gonna give any energy to this Hoiberg stuff that you're putting in the chat because I believe it's nonsense. So I'm not gonna give any energy to it. He's saying they're saying we've been linked with Hoiberg or something like that. I'm not giving it any thought because it's just not gonna happen. So
Oh shit! Yeah, 15 minutes ago.
yeah, so I'm not even gonna acknowledge it because I just don't even. It's not happening, guys. You know, like that. So that's that in it. That's that. Next,
Like, that's
bruv.
crazy. I can't even lie to you. Like, it's crazy because
It's not happening. You know, like that. It's not happening. No, man said, let's talk about Sterling. There's nothing to talk about Sterling. Sterling don't play for Man United. He's had a decent start to the season, but who cares? You know what I mean? After the season he had last season, he has to do a lot. Do you know what I mean? To make me believe that he's turned a corner. I still think he's finished, but he's playing well at the moment. He's playing with a lot of confidence. I'm happy for him. How long it's going to last? It's a different story. Do you know what I mean? But he looks like he's interested now. Last season, he looks like he was happy to just take his money and sail off into the sunset. But he actually looks like he's enjoying his football right now. So, yeah, I mean, that's good for him and that's good for Chelsea, I guess.
Mm,
Well, he
I
got
think he
what a
does well.
break. He got a brace and an assist in it, like in the last game.
Yeah, played well. Played well against West Ham as well. Now I reckon he does well this year. I reckon he favors playing down the right because he can show a bit more intent, and I think he's just got more. Like, I'll be real. Like, the thing about Tuchel is I rate Tuchel, but Tuchel like does kill attackers. Every attacker he's ever had's died under him. Like the majority, besides the ones he had at PSG, but those ones can just run the show by themselves. But nah, I'll be real. Like West Ham, he caught my eye. Like, but Sterling was doing things against West Ham that I didn't see the whole of last year. Picking up the ball, taking on 3-4 man, this and that. So as long as he stays fit, I reckon he'll be one of Chelsea's best players this year.
Well, he better be, because that's why they brought him in. You know, that's why they spent the money. That's why they gave him. That's why they gave him the number 7 shirt. Innit? They brought Sterling in to be the talisman for Chelsea. So if he does that, then finally they would have got their money's. Finally, they would have got their money's worth from him because he was brought in to be a leader. And last season, I didn't see it, but nah, he looks good at the moment. So let's see how long it lasts. But 2 good games doesn't make you a good footballer. Do you know what I mean? So man, have to withhold any premature. I don't know. Just there's premature opinions on the season he's gonna have because last season he was woeful. The same way Rashford scored loads of goals last season, but the way he started this season, you just don't know, innit? It could be another season where he scores 4 or 5 goals, but then he might go and have a purple patch and score 11 goals in 8 games or something. You never know with these players. You just never know with these players. Like, you don't know, innit? So these are guys that you just don't know, bro. If you got a fantasy team from one week to another, you don't know what's going to happen, guys. Man said Bernardo plays the same as Jack Grealish. Morris sat bench after a hat-trick. City wingers are an outlet for the defence. Grealish scores more, yes, but system first. Oh, maybe Grealish can score more, yes, but system. Yeah, no, I agree. It's the system. I believe it's the system, but time will tell, innit? Like, I believe Jack can score more goals. The reason why he doesn't is down to people's opinion to try and interpret that. Do you know what I mean? So, man said on the Grealish thing, I hear Hadge, but I feel the goal is to win games. As long as someone scores the goals, it's fine. If he adds more goals, but it ends up being disruptive to the team, it's a net negative. 100% Adam, big up for the super chat. I agree as well. Like, it's all about balance. The one thing that Pep gets right, is he balances the team very well. And when they were trying to implement Erling, the balance was lost momentarily, and they regained it by changing the formation, bringing Stones into midfield. Like, balance and synergy is the most important thing in football, and that's what's missing at Manchester United right now. So he adds balance there. You know what I mean? It's very rare that you have a front three where everyone's scoring goals in football. It's very rare. It's very rare. So it's one of those things where only time will tell. Like, we're talking about Højlund coming in and we're saying, oh, maybe he can't play with Rashford because Rashford don't pass. That's what happens when you have 3 men that want to score goals up front. Usually, 1 or 2 players suffer as a result of it. So it just is what it is. Even if you bring in a number 9 that is very goal orientated, the players around them tend to struggle because they become a vacuum. And that's what happened with Bruno. His goals dried up when Ronaldo came in. So I don't know. Football's not that simple as, we put 4 goal scorers in our front 4 and everyone's gonna score.
Yeah, no, it's not. But at the end of the day, I think it all applies to the player. Like, for example, knowing how selfish Rashford is, yeah, it won't work. But with Grealish, it's like I know Grealish can score goals and still do what he does. But that's because of how highly I rate him as a player. If I don't rate you as a player, I'll just look at you and be like, sweet, just do what you do best. Don't do anything differently, because that's when you're going to mess up the balance and you're going to mess up the entire system. With Grealish, for me, I know he can still do everything that benefits the system and benefits the team, and still eat. Like he can definitely still eat. So that's what it is.
No, I hear you. I hear you 100%. Hey, people, big up everyone inside. Make sure you smash the like, man. Over 1.5k in here, and we've just barely hit 500 likes. So let's get those up. Let's try and hit the 800. What you saying, Haj? Anyway, like, what's the rest of your day looking like?
I got a weekly La Liga show because you know me, I can't be doing Prem talk every day. Yeah, I got a weekly La Liga show tonight. I think at like either 9 or 10,
Sick.
and then yeah.
Love that. Yeah, I mean, so you look out for that. Make sure you follow his channel as well. Obviously, the link is in the title as usual, people. Do you know what I mean? So make sure you do that. Now, I mean, we're not talking about Højbjerg because it's not happening, in it. So I'm not even gonna waste. It's not a segment worth doing, bruv. It's not gonna age well, you know, like that. So it's not even worth a clip. So yeah, we're just gonna ignore that Højbjerg link. Do you know what I mean? Just like I'm gonna ignore really the link to like the likes of Regulon and Alonso. Like them things are not gonna happen. I can't see it in it, so we're not gonna waste time on that. So big up everyone inside. Make sure you follow up Hadji's channel. You know what I mean? Smash the like on the way out, people. And I'll see you guys in a bit. Big up.